Hey crew, I've got the key to this 26 Toyota GR Corolla. And to get this out of the way, there are not significant changes for the 26 model year. Much like 25 and 24, there are enhancements to its performance. And the goal for the Corolla for this year was to get it ready to lap the Nürburgring, which is very long, 16.1 miles, and it has 1,000 feet of elevation change. That is going to test a vehicle's overheating, and it's also going to test its structural integrity. So for 26, they added a secondary intake for better cooling, and they added more structural adhesive for that rigidity. I'll get more into that later. For now, the only other change for 26 is that they simplified the trim structure. So there is a core model and this Premium Plus trim. So that means up front, we're still looking at the same face. It's got this gloss black contrasting grille for this heavy metal paint job. You've got these functional brake cooling ducts off to the side. There are some vents over here at the corners. You have projector LED headlights with LED turn signals. You have a bulging hood with these black contrasting functional heat extractors. Getting to the edges, we have these matte black 18-inch wheels for the Premium Plus, and those are forged alloys. Within those, we have some red painted brakes. Wrapping around those wheels are Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tires, 235 section fronts, and at the back, functional vents here in contrasting black contrasting mirror caps, and on the Premium Plus trim, you get a forged carbon fiber roof to lower that center of gravity. There are also flared out rocker panels and these protruding over fenders here at the rear. Looking at the profile, you can still see, if you box it like this, the traces of the base Corolla hatchback, but the wheels and the bulging hood and the over fenders definitely help distinguish the GR Corolla from its lesser kin. Getting here to the back on the Premium Plus is a black contrasting spoiler. Dropping it down, we've got LED taillights with incandescent turn signals, more gloss black contrast for this chunky diffuser portion with a triple exit exhaust. You know, I still kind of miss the Circuit Edition and its big wing, but the GR Corolla has this feisty look to it. My question is, did Toyota go far enough with the GR's design to distinguish it from the regular Corolla? And should they have changed it for the 26 model year? Let me know in the comments, and let's check out the interior. Opening up, no changes here for 26 either. On the Premium Plus trim, you get this red contrast stitching amidst leatherette seating surfaces, and then a fake suede insert with red perforations. On the doors, hard plastics, and nice padded leatherette with red contrast stitch for your armrest. Getting in, oh, I have to duck my head quite a bit to not whack my noggin. And then behind my own seat at 6 feet tall, I have some knee room, not a lot of it though, and then a nice large foot pocket, that does help, with thigh support. Head is, well, it's up against the roof, not pressing uncomfortably, but if I want my head back on that headrest, it's a bit tight. There is a USB-C port here in the middle and a DC outlet for us to fight over. And there is also an armrest that comes down with nice padding and cup holders. Okay, on to the front. Up front, you do get smart keyless entry, and then these more aggressive sport bucket seats with pass-throughs for a racing harness. The seats are manually adjusting, and both are heated in 2 stages. There are aluminum pedals there and ejection molding instead of hard plastic up top with 4 one-touch windows and your door mirror adjustment. Stepping in, not as hard to get inside up front. Closing up that door, it's a good solid thud there. 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. The Premium Plus adds a head-up display. All GR Corollas are going to get this leather-wrapped steering wheel with red contrast stitching. Feels great in the hands. It's not overly thick like some performance cars. Here's an 8-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay, and then down low, a wireless charging pad is standard. Some gloss black trim, which I don't love because it smudges and scratches. Your drive mode selector is there along with traction control. There is a 6-speed manual that is standard. You can also get an 8-speed automatic. Further back is a mechanical handbrake, which is so much more satisfying than those electronic parking brakes. This is your torque split adjustment dial there, and then we've got 2 cup holders and a grippy pad, which is holding my iPhone 15 perfectly. I do wish there were some exterior or interior changes for 26, a new paint color or some extra trim, but it is still a well-equipped cabin. This one, as tested, is 46 grand though, so some of that price needs to be made up by the driving experience. That is up next. All right, let's fire it up. Before those chimes cut in, I heard a little from the turbo 1.6 liter 3-cylinder on startup and a thump with that ignition. Hey cabin crew, thanks for joining for this first drive in the 26 Toyota GR Corolla. I'm gonna throw in my seatbelt here before we get on out towards the Sonoma Raceway. Down goes the handbrake, into first gear. We're heading on out. Looks like it will be about a 30-minute journey to Sonoma Raceway. I'm gonna follow this brand new Toyota Corolla Cross. This is gonna be enough time for me to re-familiarize myself with the GR Corolla. I've spent quite a bit of time in this car over the different model years. I drove the Core with the optional at the time front and rear Torsen limited slip diffs. Now that's a standard feature for the Corolla in all trim levels. And then I drove the Morizo edition, which had the extra torque bump up to 295 pound-feet. Now that's standard across all GR Corollas. And then I drove the 8-speed automatic version in a day in the life video, which is still an option for 26, though it's a small upcharge of something like $1,000. We have the 6-speed manual, and though the 8-speed is an excellent gearbox, I would choose this manual because I'm very much in the camp of, if it's not an engaging manual, just get the automatic and make your life easier. But if it's a good manual, choose that. It just fits the nature of the car better. And this is a great gearbox. It suits this raucous 3-cylinder so well. The throws are nice and short, notches distinctly into each gear. And I love the feel of this shifter as well. The leather wrapping is great and the size is perfect for my hand to grasp. It's not like the GTI's awkwardly shaped gear selector. And speaking of the manual, the clutch release and engagement point is also easy to suss out. So it's just an easy car to drive, and it's a comfortable one too. These seats are not overly bolstered. They hold me well in place. The Suede especially does that, adhering my body to them. They're well cushioned, and the ride is excellent as well. I'm not even going to avoid this pothole here, just because I wanted to prove to myself that it's well dampened. It takes the bumps, it takes the rough impacts, and it filters them out effectively before they make their way to my body. It's a great daily driver, really is. It's good to know that hasn't changed as they've improved the performance. One of the changes they made for 25 is they improved the mid-range torque, so you don't feel like you need to be dropping down an extra gear to have the punch in the mid-range. Below 3,000 RPM, you can just accelerate rapidly. They also tweaked the electronics, which affected the steering response. You turn in and the car responds immediately and with a great amount of feedback provided through the rack. I know precisely what the car is going to do as I layer in lock. Back to that mid-range torque discussion, I'm gonna try even lower now in the rev range, around 2,200 RPM in fourth gear, foot to the floor. And it takes a couple seconds, but once you're past 2,600 RPM, it's really surging. And the turbo's making good noises. You hear that induction noise, you hear the blow off, which for an enthusiast is just joy. Beyond the performance, it's why the turbocharger is so very satisfying. And I've been satisfied with the throttle response in the normal drive mode because ultimately your drive mode can just be how you're shifting gears. But I'm gonna try the sport drive mode to see how that adjusts things. It does change the gauge cluster, gives you that horizontal tack for more sportiness. And by the way, I do have the torque split in normal, which is 60 front, 40 rear bias. And it's subtle, but I do feel like it's quicker as I go to the throttle to tell the car, yeah, let's go. I love odd cylinder count cars. This car, the RS3 with the 5-cylinder, they're so much more raucous and exciting. Not just with the way they sound, but the way they feel on acceleration. They transfer that odd firing through the cabin. It's like this extra energy that you can access, again, at lower speeds, but is even better on the track. Before Before I get to the track though, I have to cover a couple basics of daily driving the Corolla, like the turn signal sound, which is a not obnoxious noise. I'm good with that. And now the turning radius, as I fully pivot the wheel. And despite this being all-wheel drive, thanks in large part to the stubbier wheelbase, the turning circle in the GR Corolla is just fantastic. It's so maneuverable in tight spaces. And now let's say someone has cut me off out on the road and I feel the need to use the horn at them. What are they gonna hear? I forget every time. I hop behind the wheel of some Toyota sports car and I use the horn, and I remember how not intimidating it is. Now let's try a real world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. I'm still in the sport drive mode, still have the torque split in normal. I've got traction control switched off, heading into first gear, give it some revs, off the clutch, down into second, and I will have to upshift to third to get to 60 in 6.02 seconds. I'm now in the automatic version with launch control. So the way you use that is in the expert mode of traction control. I'm here in sport, holding in both paddles. Launch is active, and letting go. And we're at 60 in 5.77 seconds. So the automatic saves you about 0.3 of a second. Either way, still really fun. But to really test the limits of this car, I need a track. But before we do the tarmac track, we have a little dirt course here with Lachlan, who has just given me the demo on how to do the Scandi flick in the GR Corolla. So for the torque split, I've got it in gravel. No, are we in track right now? We're in track, which is more rear biased on the torque. I think 40 to 30 up front, 60 to 70 in the back. I am in the automatic version of the GR Corolla, so there's only gonna be one upshift with a paddle at the far corner there. So let's go into manual mode over here and have fun. Pretty aggressive with the speed, off throttle, kick it over, back to on throttle, shift into second, and carrying as much speed as I can. Woohoo! All right. Okay, now I'm in the manual version of the GR Corolla, and I'm here with Drew, who is a trophy truck driver slash two-time Baja 1000 winner.
As a navigator, I was just sitting there.
That's still awesome. So now we are going to go set up for our rallycross course of sorts. It is going to be a graded dirt road. It is going to have some gravel, but some places with more grip, some places with less. Here we go. We are in the gravel torque split right now. So that is perfect 50-50 distribution. We're also on the factory Michelin Pilot Sport 5 tires. So no additional all-terrain gravel tire here. This is factory rubber. And I love that because I feel like we've known since the introduction of the GR Corolla that this is a closet rally car. All-wheel drive, limited slip diffs front and rear. All right, let's go.
There we go.
You feel the front of the car being pulled forward with the all-wheel drive system at parts before the back end then catches up. Get the rotation again. Might have overcooked it just a little bit, but we fixed it, corrected it on the way out. And in terms of the feel of the brakes, even on a loose surface like this, there's that great initial bite before it then really seems to haul the car down. Some sliding. Whee! Now on to the track. And I'm actually starting out in a 23 model year, so I can compare to the 26 in just a moment and see the changes they've made in real time. One of the big differences, just in terms of setup, is the track torque split. Whereas in the new one, it's 30 front, 70 rear, or 40-60, it varies. In the 23 model year, it was 50-50, like the current gravel mode. And so I feel a little bit of that just up front, where the nose wants to carry, track out with a lot of speed here. Get up to 100 before I go to those brakes. Great response from those. This is actually a double apex corner here, so push a little bit, track out, keep some steering angle, and back on throttle. Now I'm in the 26 model year, and I can start to see how the changes to the suspension, the geometry, the structure, the stiffness can come into play. In addition to the track orientation of this torque split, one of the biggest changes, still learning this track, already I can tell, is the steering. It's so much more direct and feels much more connected to the road surface as opposed to the 23. And therefore, I feel more confident and in control of this car. I really like how it's behaving on throttle as well. We're getting up to 103 here. On throttle, I feel the back end rotating around the curve more than in the 23. Feels like a much more track-targeted model than the baseline in 23. Willing. Quick. All right, I'm back on the road here in an automatic to wrap up my thoughts on the 26 GR Corolla. Is it a revelation compared to the 25 model year? No. But if you are going to spend a healthy amount of time on the racetrack, then the improvements they've made to cooling and to the rigidity of this vehicle are going to be appreciated. And if you want to look further back in the model years, it's the accumulation of small things, just bolts and stabilizer bars and suspension geometry, things like that, but they come together to take this car from what was a track-capable vehicle in 23 to what now feels like it's at home on a racetrack. And if you want to take a look outside the Toyota portfolio, the Honda Civic Type R and the Volkswagen Golf R, both fantastic hot hatchbacks, really entertaining, but I would make the case that the GR Corolla is more fun in more contexts than those cars. Just as an example, you would not take a Golf R to a rally stage, but you put a set of mud flaps on one of these, and you really could. I hope you guys have enjoyed this first drive in the 26 GR Corolla. I will see you again next time. Whee!